What's going on, everybody? I guess here back again. Today I'm sharing the knowledge how to determine which files and directories are consuming the disk space the most. Currently on screen I have like a dashboard inside the Zabbix, and this is like the end of the solution. If you follow this video, then you can end up with such a graph which will show and identify in order which directories are the biggest ones. And if we talk about files, then also here which files on the file system are consuming the space the most, and also the order is here, and the graph also identifies nice colors which file is the biggest one. All right, let's have a little bit, let's talk about dependencies in order to use this thing. We have to have Zabbix agent. That's like the first prerequisite. And inside Zabbix agent, it's quite flexible if we can whitelist allow key inside the Zabbix agent configuration file. So this agent is allowing to run anything via system.run item key. That's the fast way to keep everything inside the template. So that's the first prerequisite. The next one is we are running Zabbix agent under the user root. Here, the master process of Zabbix, this guy, it's running under the root because you will scan the file system, and only root can like calculate which files and which folders are consuming the space the most. Next prerequisite, it's the utility Zabbix sender, and you have to have it there. No matter what is the distribution, Ubuntu, Debian, Red Hat, CentOS, you can install this Zabbix sender out from repository, and if it's there, you have this command line utility available, Zabbix sender, and that's like a good indication that everything works. If we can launch the help, then we can see it works. And almost the last prerequisite is active checks for the machine must work, and this is quite a big one. And for example, if we do the grep, this is the way how to see if the active checks are not causing any trouble. You just search grep cannot dot and star and active, and just search the log file, Zabbix agent log, and if it's not there, then it's brilliant. Otherwise, we can almost Google. There is a very popular message: cannot send active checks, and cannot send a list of active checks. This is the very popular message. If you got this, then active checks is not working, and this must be fixed in order to follow this tutorial. Okay, and now we can like jump to the configuration inside the server. Here I have the templates, two templates. Those are already built. I will just explain how it works and why it works. And one prerequisite is we have to have a global macro installed over here. Macro, and the name of macro is Z-sender configuration. And this is an identification what kind of credentials must use in order to reach the master server or Zabbix proxy server. And usually we use Zabbix sender in a standalone way. We just specify host name, item key, and the number. That's one way how to use it, but in case of agent is using some encryption, using pre-sharded keys or something, then it's really beneficial to use Zabbix sender in a combo with the Zabbix agent configuration file, because the sender really, it will know what kind of pre-sharded key to use to communicate with the Zabbix server or proxy server. And here also I'm specifying the agent version 1, also called the C agent, but if you already run Zabbix agent version 2, across all the systems, then by specifying it globally here, you can, it's beneficial to provide it here. And if for some exceptional hosts you are running the other version of Zabbix, you can install this one macro inside the host level just to have everything function quite out from the box. Okay, and let's go back to the templates. Here, the very first template, file system biggest files by Zabbix agent, and the very magic will happen under the items section. I have it all starts with this find biggest files item, which is running system run, and the magic happens because it will create a child process and discard it. Usually when we talk about monitoring, we always open a connection and wait till the connection will retrieve some number, some metric. But this is not the case here, because in order to scan the file system, we have to run some command. And this command is installed also in the template level as a macro. Here, the reason why everything works is because we have this command, which will scan the file system. And I will just show how it works. Just measure how long it will execute, and it will really consume more and more seconds if you have a lot of files inside the file system. That it really depends on the situation, but if you have millions of files, then it will consume a lot of seconds. And this is the basic command why the solution works. It will create this child process. It will scan the whole file system, and after 29 seconds it will provide in sorted way which files are consuming the space the most. Here is the list, and this exact list will be delivered to the Zabbix, and Zabbix will analyze and create these little items, so you can have some fancy graphs and some indication if the files are changing the size. We can notice that over time. Let's have a look again on the item configuration. So this system run, it will create the child process. Another big knowledge, I believe that there's not a lot of community members know this, but we can see how those macros will be expanded in real life situation. And in order to see that, I just see here application Zabbix sender. I can go to one server, for example here, Zabbix server, like the one server which the solution has been applied. Go to latest data page and publish the application, apply, and the biggest files, like find biggest files. So this item is responsible about creating this task in the background. And if I click here, show details, it will show the item key and this text inside the green we cannot really like see the whole thing of it. And if we have like wider screen here, I can like suppress the panel. I can now see like 1, 2, 3 letters more. But it does not help really. I really wish we can do the mouse over and see the item full thing, but that's not possible right now. But what we can do is some neat trick. We can use like a triple click to select paragraphs. Like this sentence is the first paragraph and the item key is second paragraph. And if I do the triple click over here, 1, 2, 3, and do not release the third click, I can select 2 paragraphs and copy this content to the clipboard. And if I open the text editor and just paste from the clipboard, it will show everything, all 2 paragraphs, 1 paragraph and second paragraph. And now I can really see why and how this child process has been actually created, like the full syntax. We can totally simulate this this key via command line. Just copy the guy, go to the command line, use Zabbix sender, Zabbix get help, and there is a syntax how to simulate, and inside the single quotes I can like copy one-on-one this item key. No, it's not working. Copy the item key, and just because more spaces was there, it's not working very much. But yeah, Zabbix get one single quote, Zabbix get copy here, system run, and that's it. And if I select this line and go to the command line and just publish it, it will report number 1 because we have no wait. It means do not wait till the metric will receive, but just because this command has been used by Zabbix sender, which will find the biggest files and then send to the trapper item. That's the reason why it works. Okay, let's continue. And the receiver file is this receive biggest files, and this guy will receive the information. And we can see actually, yeah, there is a magic. Just because we must use this information later inside the low-level discovery, there is a pre-processing steps configured. And here we can see we are adding columns, size and file and new line character. And then we just add the raw content which was produced here. So this raw content will be added. And some replace functionality is executed to substitute some spaces in together with forward slash. And this part which I'm highlighting right now, this is the same as here. We have multiple spaces and 1 forward slash. And we will replace this with a comma and the same forward slash. And that's it. Because we must prepare the content to the... we must prepare content to be a JSON content. And in the second step, we are converting the CSV to the JSON. And the last step is to just have some threshold. How many lines we want to feed inside the Zabbix. Sometimes we can search multiple files, like some here, the head. We will search the 30 most biggest files. And then when the search is done, sometimes we may do some filtering, exclude something, But at the end of the day, you still want to produce some constant output, how many lines you want to have inside the graph, and this biggest files count will have the meaning of it. We can actually simulate the process right now by copying this content from the command line. Here I will copy to the clipboard, go back to the here, and if I publish the content here and click the test, I can see how the transformation is happening. At first, all the spaces is gone. We have the number, comma, forward slash, and the full path of the file. Then a more suitable JSON format, and here, so this is very big, like almost 30 files, and now we are ending up with 16 files. Or 17, I think it's 17. Okay. What next? We are creating items to put some dots inside the graph, and the item, the discovery rule, will use the same input, the very same input which we just saw as a result for this after this pre-processing. Here the master key, the very same, and we have some mapping over here. We are locating the file node and putting it inside the low-level discovery macro. And the item prototypes, finally, to have these dots, and I have two items. One is like the raw line, how big is the file, and under the pre-processing tab, this is the syntax, what we will this is like the very standard template, how to utilize bulk requests inside the Zabbix and extract some elements. And let me elaborate. Let's go back to the pre-processing step. Where do I have configuration templates, items, and biggest files, pre-processing, test again, and some content from the clipboard, apply, test. So this is the raw input, and if we format this file in a beautiful way, we will see this is the all those files. And what happens here is this will be substituted with some element, and for example, one of the elements can be like this var lib rpm packages, and it will be like the item will have exactly this pre-processing step. And what it means is please search the whole JSON array and look for this node, and it's here. And what to do next? Please extract the size of this element, and it will just extract this number. So we are using these bulk requests every hour or so. We are executing this command to search the biggest files. It will report a multi-line content to the Zabbix, and this item prototype will hook up with the master key, and it will extract the thing. And just because we have here, these are not bytes, but some bigger kilobytes, I think, we have to have the multiplication, and then at the end we can still specify that this is bytes, and then the graphs will have the exactly the meaning, how the file, how big is the file in the real life situation. And all right, and the second is about the delta. Sometimes it's useful to know which files are growing. I have here a different pre-processing, simple change between the last value and the previous file. So inside the graphs, we can actually see how the files are, which files on the file system are growing. And yeah, this is per file system monitoring and per the directory monitoring. It has the quite similar thing. We have only a different command how we locate the biggest directories, how much we want to produce inside the output, and here is the some very magical step, because when we search biggest directories, there is a chance that let's see time, how long it takes, and search the biggest directories. It takes quite a lot of time. Okay, 17 seconds. And what I wanted to say that here, for example, this is not so useful. We are having almost 3 different directories which having the same size, and it clearly indicates that the problem is inside this subdirectory, and it would be great if we even don't respect this guy and this guy, and to have some solution for that, we have to define some threshold, like what is the acceptable difference between these numbers. Here are the size of directories, and this difference is described over here. It's like 20 megabytes or something, and the magic will happen inside the pre-processing again. The approach is very the same. We create a child process, we scan the whole file system, we use Zabbix sender to send the information to other item called biggest directories, and this other item will do some little magic under the pre-processing. Here it's quite some code actually, and it will do the thing I said. It will just remove these lines because these are not indicating the root cause. The root cause is this directory. It's the biggest one under the var cache, and yeah, that's the thing this code does. Okay, and yeah, after all, how it looks like in Grafana. Let's start from the scratch. Let's create a new dashboard, and here add query. How to do it? Host group, DigitalOcean, host Zabbix server, and application biggest file size, and here I will just grab the whole thing, and it prints the files. And in the Grafana there are some quite beneficial things which is not available currently in the native interface. For example, sort order. We can really use this because just to not burn your eyes out while you have 20 lines on screen, and you do not like to go manually through the lines and identify which file is the biggest one and which is the smallest. So just because we have the sort thing, it's really beneficial here. Also, per files, I really like the stack thing. It's useful because when we search those files, there's no chance those will overlap. But there's a different story when we talk about directories. And fill, maybe let's erase the line. I will use the filling here. And yeah, this is the end product. What else? We need to specify that these are bytes, which is available here. And also y minimal 0, that's quite useful. And what else? As table, so show legend to the right. That's like, I really like that. And that's it. And let's create a meaningful name. Biggest files on Zabbix server, and close. and here. That's how it looks like, and this is the beauty in Grafana. We can click here and it instantly shows which are the biggest files, and in the graph there's a good representation also which are the biggest files. And now let's clone this guy, duplicate, and show the delta of the files. There's a different application, file delta, apply, back, edit. I need to have some biggest files on biggest files delta, something like that. And currently it does not show nothing. Most likely these files are all constant, and that's the reason why it's like the graph is empty. These are really some backup kind of things. They are always being very static. But later on I will show some example where it's not static. Let's have maybe some like zooming last 24 hours. What's happening here? Nothing happens. But I do have a different server. For example, my SQL server. Let's clone this graph, or just change the host name, edit, and MySQL, where the agent runs. And here we can see the biggest partitions so InnoDB per table is used, and I can see today is November 15, and I can see here November 14 was yeah, the delta is so it's a constant file. But if we do the mouse over here, we can see the date. There was a time when the November 14 was having an hourly increase per size of the partition, and we can see that the data is coming inside the table, inside the MySQL table. So that's quite a good use case why the delta can be useful. Yeah, also pair directories. Let's duplicate and edit. What we will do, same Zabbix server. Let's change biggest directories size. And size is not good to have the delta stack thing. And yeah, I think that's it. Now it's like full-filled, and the title is wrong. The title should be biggest directories on Zabbix server, and maybe let's go back to the lines, line width without the color inside, and yeah, that's it. Close, and now we can again sort here everything and observe which parts inside the file system are consuming the most, root the most. The next one is some backup directory, and which exact parts is consuming the space. Yeah, I think that's it for this video. If you find it useful, kindly give a thumbs up, and thanks for watching.